All right, we are live.
Oh, I'm just turning off my air. There we go. What's up, everybody? We are excited to bring you back another weekly SEO jam. For those of you guys who have been tuning in, we're sharing some pretty good stuff on growing this whole SEO agency, sharing some secrets, things that Lane has learned through 20 years. My first agency, the first 10 years almost in business, we're an SEO agency, and there's a lot of things that I think that are just mistakes that you don't even know you're making. Like, I don't know if you feel that way, Lane, but I feel like I did a lot of dumb things for a lot of years.
Oh, yeah.
And so what we're hoping with this for you guys is to pick up some gems and to pick up some things that allow you to not have to do essentially the dumb things that we did and really shorten that learning curve.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's trial and error. Like, I spent at least 5 years in just trial and error, like trying everything and learning and absorbing. And if you can just avoid that first 5 years that I went through and some of what Frankie went through, then you'll be substantially further ahead. And obviously you'll be more profitable, start making more money and do a better job for clients versus trying to do all this trial and error. And by the way, a lot of you are in this mode because you're in like 10 Facebook groups and you hear this is working over here, then you hear that's working over there, then you hear this black hat trick over there, and you're in trial and error mode because you're hearing and listening to all these different people. And I would highly caution about around being sucked into that type of dynamic inside the world of Facebook.
Yeah, and a lot of things, by the way, that aren't true become gospel in those groups.
Well, yeah, I mean, you just kind of believe it, like, oh, it's got to be true, and especially if like two or three.
Yeah, they know better than I do, right?
Right. So be very, very cautious of that because you'll end up in trial and error mode in your SEO strategy, and you'll spend years really not even knowing what's actually working because you're trying so much shit that you honestly can't even really figure out. Like, you need to have single variate testing to really, really know if something is actually going to work or not. And I will tell you now today, after we've got things dialed in the way we do, if we're going to introduce anything potentially new into our SEO strategy, we're going to do single variate testing on it. And we're going to be very cautious before we just throw it into the processes and the workflow across a team of 28 people and hundreds of campaigns. Like, you just don't do that. Right. So if you're like in, I got 3, 4, 5 clients, kind of mode, and, throwing a bunch of shit in the, at the strategy doesn't necessarily throw as much, monkey wrenches into the plan, but you don't want to be in that mode. Like, so just dial it back on who you listen to, find a few trusted people, dial out all the different Facebook group noise. And
can I just say, for me, the thing that actually simplified all that is when I started just running analysis on what was ranking and looking at what Google was doing rather than what anybody was saying. And it was like, the proof is in the pudding. And the more I just started using that as my kind of like way to determine what's working and what's not, like for me at least, it made a lot more sense of everything because it was like, I didn't have to listen to second and third hand opinions. By the way, for those of you guys who are new around here, my name's Frankie Fihn. A lot of people know me because I wrote this whole agency book. The Lane Train over here is the founder of Quantum Agency and the recently sold Signal Genesis, which in my opinion is the best PR software in the agency world that's ever been created and probably ever will be created, at least for a long, long time. Lane Train. So there was something today I wanted to specifically jam on for our folks, which is, this is a thing that kind of drove me crazy for a lot of years, which is this idea that SEO is enough work as it is. Like, and if I actually look at all the agency deliverables, like, Facebook ads and, Google pay-per-click and SEO and web design, SEO to me is by far the most complex deliverable. And on top of that,
also the most tricky, just, as a quick little insert. And, it definitely will have generate the best results in terms of driving traffic and leads. So it needs to be part of your core strategy, which is why Frankie and I are talking about, spending a day a week, just talking about it, because it is so critical in the overall product offering of a digital marketing agency. And it's so critical for the businesses out there that you're going to serve, or you do serve, in terms of really building their online footprint and their lead generation.
Yeah. And a part of it today that I kind of wanted to show off to your point is that for me, one of the big challenges is because it's so much work to do. I often spent a lot of my time in the early days, especially in fulfillment. And what it did is it left a lot of clients going, what's happening? When are we going to get there? When do I see, when will I get phone calls?
Right.
And all these things. And, you know, I didn't realize it at the time, but this gap in communication can be like a real point of misery. And in the way I see most agencies do it is really just like they get access to the client, you know, site and Google business profile and whatever sort of assets they need. And then it's like 30 days of radio silence, monthly report, 30 days of radio silence, monthly report, 30 days of radio silence, monthly report. And what happens is if you kind of have that flow, like clients are going to churn and they're going to cancel, especially in the beginning where they trust you the least and they've probably had nothing but bad experiences. They do not assume you're behind the scenes doing the work. And
Right.
so I'm hoping if you'd let me that we could show a little presentation. It's just something we've been building in ChatGPT, which is kind of like playing offense on the communication.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you able to hit present on your side?
Let's see what happens. Present, share screen. Don't show these tips again.
Well, Frankie's getting his screen up. Like what he just said is really, really important. And what he's going to show you here using and leveraging AI, like this is now so simple to do, right? I mean, you can even automate the emails if you really want to, but
yeah. Do you see my screen right now?
Add stage. There you go.
There we go. So hopefully, do you guys see my ChatGPT right now?
Yes. Yep.
So this is like a master prompt that we've created, and like a lot of it is really just programmed with the ideas in my books. So you guys know, like, you know, I always say there's 5 things with expectations, which is what sort of results do you expect to achieve for the clients, like measurable changes, the timeline, like how long is that going to take to happen, the cost, how much money are we going to need to spend to get there, the communication of like what and when are you going to hear from me about, and then the last piece is like what I need from you as the client to be successful in this relationship. And so we kind of built those into a master prompt. And the way I look at this is kind of like an accordion where you want to show more communication in the beginning. And so that's kind of like our prompt is like we let them know. So I'm just going to go through and this is set up for kind of all agencies, but we're going to just tell like we enter in our master prompt over here and then ask ChatGPT to ask us questions based on our deliverable. And so in this case, we're doing SEO. And let's just say in my case, we're doing it, you know, or let's go water damage restoration, guys. Then it's going to ask us what deliverable should the client expect in the first 30 days. So this is one of those things you want to figure out. Like, I don't know how you feel about this, Lane, but I think like the more you can communicate like micro milestones and micro KPIs and little things you're winning at, you know, like it's just going to be better for the client relationship, that showing them that work is actually getting done and things are actually happening. But I wonder if you have some thoughts on what else you would normally do in the first 30 days.
Yeah, like I would document like all the setup. So like we connect into the GBP listing, the Google Search Console account, the Google Analytics account, just to, and then set up a visual data reporting dashboard, so that we can report and suck in and report on the data. And then we will typically begin and start doing GBP profile or listing optimizations. So gap and deficiency work on the GBP listing. There's always typically things that are missed. So we'll do some of that. We will we'll take over the website and we'll install organizational schema on the contact page and the home page. We'll identify the top pages of the website that are going to be targeted for building authority. We do a baseline reporting audit for local heat map or geogrids. Yeah. So we pull geogrids on the top target, typically 2 to 5 keywords, and pull geogrid reports on that for baseline reporting. Obviously, we get the Google Analytics for baseline and historical. If they don't have analytics set up or Search Console set up, about half the time that's probably the case. Then we get that set up for them. Instead of connecting to it, we set it up and then connect to the reporting dashboard.
I think that's a good start. Let's just go.
We build a topical content map around all the target keywords.
Yeah. do more than I did. Let's just say that. but I will say that AI has changed the game of what's possible in a short amount of time. So what are the key milestones? I think in the first month, just based on what you said, like milestones for a client would be like the GeoGrid analysis, to me as well, the topical content map, and then the GBP is optimized for their target keyword.
Yeah, and we would want like a couple emails, right? Not just one. Like here's the summary, because that's like that.
Yeah. This is set up to generate a whole month's worth of emails. What type of client involvement is necessary? In this case, we'd probably,
typically want photos from them, so we can use photos with their GBP listing.
Yeah.
Logins, like you said, admin access to the website, and then feedback around the topical content map. Although that's pretty data driven and scientific, from the approach and what we build out there, but we still want their kind of sign off on it, at least from all the topics,
Are there any known delays or common challenges we should prepare for? Things that might push the timeline or require extra communication?
Yeah, their delay in responding.
Yeah. Responding or getting logins. Yeah. All right. So let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. This is not meant to be like perfect out of the box, but I just wanted to show you kind of guys like what a proactive communication thing. I actually kind of built this just as much for myself, like being transparent with you. When I did the 90-day challenge with the restoration guys, I dropped the ball on quite a few of these, where, the more you play offense on communication, like just the longer they're going to stay.
Right.
Here we go. So this is creating a 30-day email, and the way it's been prompted is it's designed to give more in the beginning and less as time goes on, because in the beginning it's when they trust you the least, and so you want to just
like 90 days. Yeah, you should have this. You can have this dialed in. We have the first 6 months dialed in terms of expectations and deliverables. Just because if you get through the first 90 days, you're really, really good. Like if you can just be like what Frankie's saying, over communicate in those first 90 days, build lots of trust, lots of touch points. And then, obviously like our deliverables don't change in month 3 or month 4. Like there's some minor tweaks in if you do it out of like as a year strategy, but by and large, like the deliverables are going to be the same every month. But other than month 1, the first 90 days, we do that setup, and then we do some of the listing optimization, on-page optimization, and we give ourselves the first 3 months to accomplish that, because it can take a period of time. It's not like it's going to be done in like 3 weeks and you're done. So that gives you 90 days of deliverables right there, and you can literally just we have it dialed into our task templates right inside of our project management system, and so there's no guesswork for any of our team members. Like they know exactly what needs to be done, in month 1, month 2, month 3. We are actually working on doing what Frankie's doing here with ChatGPT, which I'm going to want the link to this too, just so I can share it with my ops manager. Frankie,
of course.
Is actually increasing the touch points and the communications and using AI to do it, so that our account managers, don't have to try to create this from their creative juices, every week or month, right? So. Yeah, this is great. So why don't we let's once it's done here, we'll scroll back up and go through it.
Yeah. So what I kind of wanted to highlight is, especially in the beginning when they don't trust you, is they don't assume that if they don't hear from you that you're doing the work and things are happening as they're supposed to and you're moving the ball forward. The opposite.
Mystery is always going to be assumed to be the worst. Like people's human nature, especially when they're paying money, they're going to assume the worst if there's mystery. So take out the mystery with this formula.
Yeah. So this is the framework, and obviously based on these prompts, we can have it write message 1, but it's welcome the client, set expectations for the first 30 days, explain the deliverables, what's needed, let them know how and when they will hear from you. Day 2, access request. We need, this is the stuff we need from you. Day 4, here's a progress update. Here's what's been completed so far. Reiterate the need for any outstanding logins or photos, mention the GBP optimization and GeoGrid analysis that will be underway soon. Again, this is stuff that you're doing anyway, but you're making a big deal out of it, so they feel like stuff's getting done. Day 6, optimization begins. Congratulate them. This is a thing that took me a lot of years to learn, is especially I didn't figure this out until my second agency when we ran like Facebook ads. But if you just message a client and go, congratulations, like your campaign is live, and you make a big deal out of shit you're doing, and congratulations, we just got your first lead, like it feels like you're winning together. And that you want to set that frame very early on, because you don't want it to feel like, hey, we're going to do this for 6 and 12 months and then you're going to win. You want it to feel like you're actually winning in the first week, in the first day, like you're hitting the milestones and the things that you're after. So obviously in SEO, those milestones will look, different. But nonetheless, that's what it's got here. Your GeoGrid analysis is complete. Again, this is just telling them that like work is happening.
We're doing shit. Hey, we're doing shit, not just like this month, but like this week and this yesterday.
Yeah. We're building your content strategy. So you let them know like, hey, that's happening. Again, this is stuff you do anyway. We're optimizing your website, or your content map is ready for your review twice per week. Great news. Your GBP is fully optimized. End of the month progress report. Summarize the work completed. Set expectations for the next phase. Congratulate them. Tell them what's coming next. So this is all based on, I mentioned those 5 things. And if we want to, we can say, can you help us write email number 1, which is in this case.
And I would say for XYZ company, right?
Yeah.
Please customize the email for the company and the brand. That way you get a really customized, nice email that, you don't have to like then go and edit later. Like just let the GPT do it for you.
Yeah. And I'm going to just add something that I like to do, which is use simple vocabulary. And I can't spell that damn word. Use where I can tell that. There we go. Use simple vocabulary and keep it light and playful. So that's kind of like my tone. I'm not saying you guys have to model my tone, but like if it was coming from me, that's just how it would be. So what is the name of our company and brand? I'm gonna be Lane Train for a second. So we're gonna be called Quantum SEO. And my name is the Lane Train. What tone do you typically use? Light and playful. Obviously, you guys may want a different tone. Do you have any specific phrases or slogans that represent? Do you guys have a slogan? Your white label partner. Let's just say that. In crime. How do you want to sign off your emails? I always like "May the Force be with you," so we're going to write it like that. And there we go. And again, I don't look at this as like we're trying to use ChatGPT out of the box. We're just helping it build the frameworks for us so that we can edit and modify it in our voice. So it's, hey, client name, welcome aboard the Quantum SEO Express, your white label partner in crime. We're pumped to get things rolling and start building your online presence like never before. Here's what to expect in the coming days. We're going to set up your accounts. We're going to get your website ready. We're going to map out your content strategy. We need a couple of things from you to kick off. Logins, photos from your GPP, feedback. We'll keep you posted every step of the way with regular updates. You always know what's going on. Feel free to reach out with questions. Talk soon. Lane Train, Quantum SEO, your white label partner in crime. The force be with you.
Beautiful.
Yeah. How about we just, can you help us to write the second email? And we'll cut it off for there for now, but oh, it's giving me the dual response deal. I always just pick one. I don't have time to read 2 GPT messages. We're going to go, I prefer 1. Okay. Have you received any photos or logins?
No.
No. Usually that, by the way, the answer to that question is usually no.
Say no, 2 no. And then,
is there any particular way you'd like to explain the urgency?
Yeah.
What's that?
Say no, 2 no, and then 3 yes.
Yeah.
See what it does.
Quick reminder, we need a few things to get started. Hope you're doing well. I would remove that. I hate when emails start. Hope you're doing well. Just a quick reminder, we're ready to start optimizing your but we need a couple things, logins, photos for your GBP. Once we get started, we'll be able to jump straight into this. The sooner we have these, the faster we can get you results. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Talk soon. Lane Train, Quantum SEO, your white label partner in crime. May the force be with you. Do you like the partner in crime?
I like
I'm gonna start using that. So I'm gonna stop screen share here, but I just wanted to show you guys like what that looks like is having a map of now we're being proactive on the communication. It's not 30 days radio silence and then never hear from me again, and then or 30 days radio silence, end of month report, which often they don't understand anyway. Now we're actually telling them stuff is happening, work is getting done, we're moving you towards the goal continuously, and we want to be in touch. Like you mentioned, you almost have to over communicate, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, you're seeing my screen.
Yep.
So we'll quick close to this. What I would tell you to do here, Frankie, is take that prompt, that whole like thread you got there,
Yeah,
and then like turn it into your own GPT, because then your own GPT runs up here. Then you can also share that GPT with other people. So I was just kind of playing around with creating my first GPT a couple weeks ago, and I created this entity knowledge hub because, when we onboard a new client, like we need to build this knowledge hub, right, or knowledge graph around the entity. And so we need to get all this information that we can then feed into other AI, into, whatever, but all this information. So you can just click on some of the quick, tutorials, and then it just tells you like, here's what you got to do. So let's do some entity discovery. Here's some of the information that we're going to need. And then, boom, we need to gather some social and news information. So here's their profiles. Who's their target audience, right? We want to know who are we going to be targeting, points, and then content strategy, SEO development, and then let's start with entity discovery. And then it guides you. All right, so let's start with step one here, and then we'll go from there, right? And so I took it through and trained the GPT on everything you would really need to do in order to build an entity knowledge hub around a specific entity that you're onboarding for SEO, and it would guide any team members for this as well. Or you could then take this and turn this and go, all right, now give me some emails that I need to send to the client around this, right? And here's my first week or two of emails.
Yeah, and I would also add, like, one thing that I've been doing a lot of is like you can feed it examples of your writing style. So like I sign all my emails, may the force be with you. And I train it like this is how I write. It'll sign may the force be with you. I'm not saying you guys need to do that, but like if you have a certain style that you want to emulate, they're really good for that.
Yeah. So these are the things you can do in terms, that kind of maybe the overarching, lesson today is think of creative ways you can leverage AI within your overall SEO strategy and deliverables. And to Frankie's point, build trust those first 90 days and use AI with you can build, a custom GPT like I just showed you. You can just build a thread that kind of trains, give those prompts to your team members, and off we go, right?
Yeah. Love it.
Awesome share today, buddy. Appreciate you very much.
Yeah. I had to build this because I'm bad at these things. If I don't have automation and tools to help me, like I will just personally drop the ball. Like
even if you're good at it, it still takes up creative mind space and time.
Yeah.
And so if you can build some systems like this, leveraging AI, whether it's Claude or ChatGPT or any other LLM, and then deploy this within your processes and workflow for onboarding and client communications, you're going to have a lot less churn because you're going to do a way better job of communicating. You're going to not have to figure it all out. ChatGPT can do it all for you with just a little bit of interaction and some prompt engineering, which Frankie very, very expertly demonstrated for everyone today.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, like all I'm really doing, like, we're talking prompt engineering, but I just fed it enough background information about those 5 things. And then I also specified like how frequently we would like the communications. And what I specified is like in the beginning, like every 1, 2, 3 days, I want to give them an update. After week 2 to like 3, I'm happy with every like 2 to 4 days is enough. And then after that, like every 4 or 5 days. And then after the first 30 days, like once a week is probably enough.
Yeah.
But that's basically what I specified. And looking at it like a timeline, I think of it as like an accordion, where an accordion's like the timeline is kind of squished together in the beginning because like that's when they trust you the least. And so you want to like just let them know we're creating milestones and we're hitting them, and work is being done and we're pushing you forward. And then once they learn to like feel you out a little bit, you can definitely stretch that. And the ultimate of that is like when you have clients who've been with you for like 5-6 years or even longer than that. My oldest client's been with me since 2009. Some of my clients that have been with me forever, like I don't even send them updates.
Hey, Frankie, before we sign off, can you take the link for that thread and share it in the comments?
Yeah, I'll share it for folks. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that way they can have, and I'll share the link once you post it. I'll share my link to the Entity Knowledge Hub too. People can play around with that.
Cool. Appreciate you, dude. I got a jet time wise, but this was another good one. Another good one in the books.
Nice and quick. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Enjoy the hump day wherever you're at today. And and by the way, next week I'll be traveling next week. I should be on a plane at this time. So no SEO jam session next week. I'm going to Tampa. I'll be with Alex Schlinsky, Brian Downard, and the POD agency group. So looking forward to being with all of them next week in Tampa. Shout out to Alex and Brian. Looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Frankie, I will see you in 2 weeks, my brother.
All right. See you, gentlemen.
Peace out. See you.
And ladies.